You're welcome back. Now, throughout this week, the Multimedia Group has led a campaign seeking an end to attacks on pressmen and to ensure a freer media in Ghana. Now, this was critical because, as it is in every society, the media provides the platform for people, including you, our cherished viewer, to engage with the powers that be, from the president to the police. Dubbed Defend Media Freedom, the campaign gauged the views of a number of senior members of the media fraternity. JoyNews' editor, Fifi Kumson, has a wrap of events so far.
The nation has experienced some of the worst atrocities against media men in the history of the Fourth Republic. A journalist, Ahmed Swale, has been killed. He was shot at close range.
It's something very shocking, and what people were even intending to do, we have big malams and imams who come to talk to us not to take the law into our hands, because yet we don't know who is responsible.
A journalist, Latif Idris, has been beaten and left with a fractured skull, wounded for life by police officers.
And they joined and beat me up with sticks, with their legs, with the back of their guns hitting mine. Yesterday, I asked him to take a shot of that. They hit me with the back of the gun about 3 times at the back of my head here.
Many others still bear the wounds from the brutal assault on them. At least 31 attacks in the last year and 41 since the assumption of office of President Akufo-Addo.
We hadn't recorded any incident of, a murder, but this year we've had that. We hadn't had a case where a journalist in Ghana has had to be compelled by circumstances to, at least relocate for a while. This year we've had that. And then the worrying phenomenon is also when it is political activists who are the perpetrators, because these are backed by big machineries. Whether it is the governing party or the opposition party, it should be worrying to us.
These and many more attacks on the media set the tone for the Global Forum on Media Freedoms in London early July.
With many governments also insulting and threatening journalists and seeking to throttle media organizations through strict controls on ownership, licensing and online activity, we have reached the point where there are few places in the world where journalists are not surveilled, harassed, disenfranchised or subject to self-censorship.
So do you know the importance of journalists?
The Multimedia Group joined the campaign with the launch of the hashtag Defend Media Freedom. And it was critical because the media provided the platform to give voice to the citizenry and to shine a light on the issues that affect ordinary people who have no chance of ever meeting or speaking to their president, minister, or MP. For a lot of the experts, the nation is going through a period of gradual attempt to crack down on media freedoms, the limiting of the reach of FM stations to 45 kilometers. This is expected to affect various radio stations in Ghana, Joy FM, Peace FM, and many more.
There are laws that sometimes government may decide to apply it in a very whimsical and discriminatory way, such as what the NCA recently did in terms of shutting down certain particular media organizations in the name of applying a court ruling. And one wonders why others who were also affected by the same court ruling didn't suffer the same penalties.
To be fair though,
I think that generally for all of us, it is time that we all had a reawakening, because there are times when these things have happened and even, media houses that are professional themselves, it's as if we really do not care too much about what it is that happens to us.
Former VRA boss Dr. Charles Rekubrobe established the first private radio station in Ghana, Radio I. He describes the current media dispensation as the worst in the history of the Fourth Republic.
It reminds me of a Dubois Hines culture of silence. The government of the party that believed in the rule of law and the freedom of speech and expression and Kabi and everything is inadvertently, because I have no evidence to suggest that it has taken specific divisions, but it's inadvertently recreating a culture of silence in Ghana. Because if you don't condemn and you do not reprobate,
and you do not culture of silence in 2019, that you're hearing echoes of it.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because
that's such a chilling thing to say. Because
I'm sorry, I need to be very chilling. These are my brothers. We've been in the trenches together. We fought for press freedom because I.
Aren't you exaggerating this?
No, no, because the issue is that, you know, if a journalist does a story or media house does a story, and it's not sure whether goons will descend on the station, they're going to be more cautious. That's human nature. So those in authority need to come out and say, not only do we have nothing to do with this, those who actually broke the laws of this country and acted with impunity shall be taken to task. And that silence, for me, as I said, inadvertently, is recreating the culture of silence, because you are actually, and then journalists are murdered and we don't know, there's nothing happening. Investigations which we don't know, journalists are beaten, journalists have to go into hiding. Exactly. And also, all of these things, you know, add up to the recreation of the culture of silence that we all fought against in the early 90s.
For him, one thing that provides fodder for that conviction is the shutdown of various radio stations across the country under this government. Dr. Charles Rekubrobe says he's personally written to President Akufo-Addo on the matter. This is because in the senior citizens' part with the Rawlings administration over the establishment of Radio I, Nana Akufo-Addo was his lawyer.
Freedom is something that we have to be fighting for every day, every hour, you know, all the time.
For a man who fought for media freedom in Ghana, editor-in-chief of the Insight newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr., believes a return to a period of intolerance by the state for the media will be dangerous for its democracy. Those pushing for censorship of the media often cite infractions by pressmen as grounds for their posture. But Mr. Pratt says people who feel offended by the media must resort to the law.
That if the media is not responsible, then the freedoms will be taken away. And this is an utterly irresponsible statement, especially coming from media practitioners. You understand? I mean, nothing justifies the limiting of the space for free expression. Nothing in the world can justify that.
My name is Daniel Daze.
Bernard Avle.
Right, Nana Amfo.
As the fourth estate of the realm, the media is only there to ultimately work in the interest of the public. That means any attempt to break its clause will be an attempt to stifle free speech. Is the reason media people will advocate a defense of press or media freedoms.
So press freedom
is that which enables me to tell the stories that matter the most to the audience.
And then to be able to hold powerful people accountable.
Press freedom to me means that I have
a legal backing, support of the state, support of the security agencies to be able to
be fair, to be probing, and to be development oriented.
Press freedom. Hashtag defend media freedom. Fifi Kumsin, JoyNews.
It's very vital for the survival of any democracy. In fact, I feel it is part of the birthright of every citizen.
My name is Daniel Daze.
Bernard Avle.
Right, Nana Amfo.
David Ando.
Virginia Tenkran.
Edward Kwabi.
Joseph Akable.
Kojo Akoto-Boateng.
Umaru Sandaman. Alfred Okanse.
Captain Smart.
Nana Majimana Sante.
Samson Ladi Anyenini.
Press freedom means
protection to journalists
to go about their work
without any form of inhibitions,
undue influence,
hindrance or intimidation or fear.
Free from harassment.
Like a banker would go to their bank and work in the morning, like a teacher would go to the classroom in the morning and teach. And
the opportunity and the space to operate and keep the powers that be in check, and also to drive growth. So press freedom
is that which enables me to tell the stories that matter the most to the audience.
And then to be able to hold powerful people accountable.
Press freedom to me means that I have
a legal backing, support of the state, support of the security agencies to be able to
be fair, to be probing, and to be development oriented.
Press freedom is absolute freedom, but freedom with some responsibility. It's very vital for the survival of any democracy. In fact, I feel it is part of the birthright of every citizen.
So yeah, without press freedom, there can be no press.
If a journalist does a story, or media house does a story, and is not sure whether goons will descend on the station, they're going to be more cautious. That's human nature. So those in authority need to come out and say, not only do we have nothing to do with this, those who actually broke the laws of this country and acted with impunity shall be taken to task. And that silence, for me, as I said, inadvertently, is recreating the culture of silence, because you are actually, and then journalists are murdered and we don't know, there's nothing happening. Investigations which we don't know, journalists are beaten, journalists have to go into hiding. Exactly. And also, all of these things, add up to the recreation of the culture of silence that we all fought against in the early 90s.
I've been reading in the newspapers statements made by media practitioners to the effect that if the media is not responsible, then the freedoms will be taken away. And this is an utterly irresponsible statement, especially coming from media practitioners. You understand? I mean, nothing justifies the limiting of the space for free expression. Nothing in the world can justify that. And I'm completely, deeply, abhorred when such statements come from media practitioners.